What if the universe has hidden pathways? Corridors so enormous and so ancient that they stretch across intergalactic space, silently operating for billions of years without ever being noticed? That question was purely theoretical until James Webb found something that looked disturbingly close to it. When the first anomalous readings came in, scientists assumed it was just another data glitch, a distortion caused by gravitational interference or an overlooked calibration error. But the anomaly didn't go away. It sharpened, it stabilized, it aligned. And suddenly, the structure behind it came into view, a vast, tunnel-like formation embedded inside a filament of the cosmic web, shaped with such precision that no known cosmic process should be able to form it. The interior wasn't random, it wasn't chaotic, it was smooth, layered, organized, almost like a system designed to channel something. Even the temperature distribution was controlled, dropping in gradual, perfect steps, as though the structure was tuned to manage energy flow across its entire length. But the most unsettling discovery came next. A bright central spine running straight through the corridor, pulsing with mechanical regularity. It was too clean, too rhythmic, too exact to be a natural byproduct of cosmic dynamics. And as Webb's instruments focused deeper, faint reflections appeared inside the corridor, like echoes trapped for centuries, bouncing down its interior. These echoes weren't random scatterings. They were ordered, delayed, repeating in a calculated pattern as if the corridor was acting as a waveguide. Scientists scrambled to decode the echoes, but the data only grew stranger. The deeper Webb scanned, the more the structure resembled something functioning, not decaying or collapsing, but operating, quietly, silently, patiently. And then something moved. A faint mass signature emerged at the far end of the corridor. It didn't drift the way dust or gas would. It adjusted, corrected, reacted, as if aware of the environment around it. That was the moment scientists realized the terrifying scope of what Webb had discovered. This wasn't just an ancient cosmic formation, it was an active corridor inside the universe itself, and something was traveling through it. The object detected inside the corridor didn't behave like anything previously observed. Its movement was too smooth, too intentional. Instead of drifting along gravitational currents, it navigated, shifting slightly left or right, rising or falling in perfect harmony with the tunnel's internal forces. The corridor seemed to acknowledge its presence. Rings embedded along the inner walls began illuminating sequentially, almost like progressively activating gates. As each ring lit up, the central spine pulsed in response, sending controlled waves of light along the length of the structure. Webb recorded the entire phenomenon, and the patterns were unmistakable. The corridor wasn't passive. It was communicating, or calibrating, or preparing. The object itself emitted strange readings, a bubble of negative energy density surrounding it, something that appears only in theoretical models of exotic propulsion. Inside this bubble, normal particles bent unnaturally, curving around the object's form, as though its very existence distorted spacetime in a controlled, engineered way. The reflections from earlier suddenly shifted, forming new echo paths that aligned with the object's motion. It was as if the corridor's internal systems, if they could even be called systems, were adjusting to guide the object forward. Even more mysterious were the gravitational distortions forming ahead of it. They weren't chaotic or noisy. They were smooth, consistent, and followed equations eerily similar to those describing stable wormhole geometries. Yet this wasn't a wormhole in the traditional sense. There was matter, structure, architecture.
Something existed physically inside this region, and it had been operating long before humanity evolved the tools to see it. Some theorized it might be part of a natural process from the early universe. Others whispered about engineered megastructures or ancient cosmic mechanisms. But none of these explanations could fully address the evidence. The corridor was active, the geometry adaptive, the behavior purposeful. And then Webb picked up something that sent chills through every researcher. The object was accelerating. Not violently, not chaotically, but with precision, as if following a predetermined path toward the corridor's distant end, where a faint, swirling luminosity began to grow, as though something was waiting for it.
As the object accelerated, the corridor responded like a colossal living system. The ripples along the walls shifted into tightly organized patterns, sending waves of energy that matched the object's increasing velocity. Temperature differences flattened, magnetic fields aligned, even the particle flows began forming aerodynamic lanes guiding the object forward. It looked eerily like a cosmic transportation network, but on a scale too vast to comprehend. Webb tracked the changing environment in unprecedented detail. The rings rotating around the tunnel's interior began moving faster, no longer just scanning the object, but actively interacting with it. Each time the object passed through a ring, a burst of precisely shaped light pulsed outward, carrying information about its structure, mass, and energy field. It was almost like the corridor was monitoring the object's condition, ensuring it reached the far end intact. And then something remarkable happened. The corridor's walls began rearranging themselves, forming new geometries ahead of the object. At first they were subtle, small shifts in density, new plasma formations, but soon they developed into large, patterned structures that looked disturbingly artificial. Some resembled transparent, spiraling blades. Others looked like curved shells of ionized gas that folded and unfolded as the object approached. The entire corridor was transforming, shaping itself dynamically around the object's journey. Webb detected rising gravitational harmonics, layered frequencies that resonated with the object's propulsion bubble. These harmonics grew stronger the deeper the object moved, eventually forming a perfect match, as though the corridor had locked onto the object and was guiding it through its final phase. The swirling luminosity at the far end of the corridor brightened into a structured vortex-like opening. Webb's sensors struggled to maintain clarity as gravitational distortion spiked. Light bent inward at impossible angles, and faint shadows of unknown origin flickered inside the vortex like silhouettes behind a curtain of energy. The object continued accelerating smoothly, drawn toward the vortex with unwavering precision. Every instrument, every ring, every layer of the corridor synced into a single cohesive rhythm. The whole structure felt alive, aware, and intent on completing a cycle that might have repeated countless times before humanity even existed. Whatever this corridor was, natural engine, cosmic mechanism, remnant of the early universe, it was operating flawlessly, and the object was moments away from reaching its destination. As the object crossed the final stretch, the vortex at the end of the corridor erupted into a brilliant cascade of layered light, swirling in smooth, controlled motions like an engineered aperture opening for arrival. The gravitational field surrounding the vortex stabilized into a perfect curve, something no natural black hole or cosmic phenomenon has ever demonstrated. It was controlled spacetime, organized, sculpted. The corridor's rings locked into their final rotational positions, forming a vast circular lattice that acted like an alignment array. Every part of the corridor was now synchronized with the object's position, velocity, and energy signature. Webb captured each detail: the rising harmony of gravitational waves, the shifting layers of plasma sharpening into defined structures, the interior textures forming patterns that looked like a language written in light,
And then, the transition. The object entered the vortex. For a fraction of a second, Webb recorded an outline of its shape. Smooth, elongated, seamless, unlike any spacecraft or natural object ever documented. When it touched the vortex's interior boundary, the entire corridor flashed in a unified burst of energy. Every ring, every ripple, every strand of the central spine ignited in the same instant. Then, everything collapsed into silence. The vortex dimmed. The rings slowed. The corridor's ripples faded into stillness. Within minutes, the entire structure returned to a dormant state, as if waiting patiently for the next object it was designed to guide. Scientists are left with the haunting question: what is this corridor for? Is it a natural transportation artery of the universe? A relic of processes that shaped the earliest cosmic structures? Or an engineered system built by something far older, far more advanced, and far more deeply integrated into the architecture of the cosmos than we can imagine? Whatever the truth is, Webb has shown us that the universe is not a random sea of stars and galaxies. It has patterns, corridors, systems, hidden structures that might operate on timescales and scales of space far beyond human comprehension. Inside the universe's hidden corridor lies a mystery that challenges everything we know about physics, cosmic evolution, and our place in the universe. And Webb has only just begun uncovering it.